In this video, I'm going to explain in the simplest way possible exactly how motivation works and how you can stay motivated. Because I know we've all been in a situation where you want change to happen and you're waiting for motivation to come to you and it just doesn't, right? So you need to understand how it works. I'm going to break it down as quickly as I can, basically. So you can see I have this graph and it's very simple. I promise you, if you watch to the end, you'll understand fully. There's going to be a massive weight that's lifted off you. So on the on this axis, we have motivation, and on this axis, we have easy shit and hard shit. So this is like level of difficulty of the things you're doing in your life, right? And as you can see, it kind of just goes up like this, straight, right? Which, what does that mean, right? If you're down here and you're doing easy shit, you have low motivation. But it's a negatively repeating cycle, because if you have low motivation, you can't do hard shit, and then you're just stuck in the same place because you can't do hard shit to get more motivation. So what do you need to do? You need to get here, just there, right? Because once you're here, you do a little bit more hard shit, you get a little bit more motivation, and then the more motivation you have, the more hard shit you can do, the more motivation you have, and you just go up and up and up and up like this. And then it keeps on going. So what do you need to focus on is just this first box. And what happens? What do we need to get to that first step? This is what I call activation energy. And it's a point in your life when you're just so sick of where you are, things that are happening to you, that you just you have these 3 a.m. moments where you're sat up in bed, you're like, right, everything changes now. Everything starts tomorrow. I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna eat healthy, I'm gonna focus on my work, I'm gonna focus on self-development, and it all starts tomorrow. That is the activation energy where you're so sick of your life and you just need to get here. Now, I'm going to tell you why 95% of people don't get here and continue going on, because we all get these moments when we're sick of our life, right? Everybody gets that. So what is the difference between everybody getting that and the people who actually make it work? When you get this activation energy, you need to start in that very moment, in that fucking moment, because I guarantee if you say, I'm going to start tomorrow morning, yeah, I'm going to do all of this shit for myself, but I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to start next week, I'm going to start January 1st. That is where you fail every single time. It doesn't work like that. I've been there. I've tried it like 50 times. Okay? You need to start right then and there, because what happens if you don't is you're telling yourself, yeah, I value making change, but right now I kind of just want to stay comfortable in bed. I'm enjoying myself. No! You start right then and there. Otherwise, it's not going to change, because you're telling yourself you care more about more about your downtime than you do your goal. So you just need this activation energy of starting there, and then you get here, and then you get there, and it keeps on going. It just builds up, and what happens is you start to snowball. You just start to snowball, right? And what I mean by that is you just build up more and more and more, and you become this unstoppable force. You just become this unstoppable force. There is going to be a point when you reach like here, right? This might be after a few months, maybe even a few years of self-development, where you're just doing the same shit every day. You're working on yourself and you're doing all of this hard stuff, and you just start to feel bored. You don't wake up with that same fire you did in the beginning. But this is the hardest part once you get past here. And it's, as you can see, I've drawn it out. It only lasts a little point of time, because I guarantee once you get up here, this is the most beautiful section, like in terms of your self-development, that you can possibly imagine. Because okay, so this is just this little point where you're bored, but what happens when you get past it is you start to realize I'm going to bed fulfilled, I'm going to bed happy. I don't go to bed feeling like a piece of shit. I feel stable in my mind. I feel grateful that I have this capability to work towards my goals. I have this capability to be 10 times better than I was a few years back. You start to realize that the relationship between you and hard work is so healthy. You just start to crave it. You start to relish every single opportunity you get to be a better person. And then you just go to the fucking moon. You just go to the moon in terms of your self development. This graph is probably the only thing you're going to need in terms of self development on the main topic. There's going to be little niches and things that apply specifically to you. This is the simplest way I can describe how you can get better starting right now. Because if you clicked on this video, I think you probably have that activation energy where you're like, oh, I'm just sick of my shit, right? Because we've all been there, okay? You need to start right fucking now. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And you have to come to terms with the fact that you're probably going to stay in the same place for the next 10 plus years. It starts now. Go check out my Instagram at Coach Will Cave. I'm gonna be posting a lot more in there. I post daily. I do a lot of stories and stuff. I'm gonna be posting more on this channel. Subscribe, follow my Instagram. I'll see you next time.